One thing we know for sure is Joe Biden is going to make it hell for President Trump to take over with Russia and Ukraine. We know that the current administration is set on funding Ukraine at any cost because not only is it their personal interests, there's very strong ties that Joe Biden's son, Hunter, was carrying out business operations in Ukraine worth millions and billions of dollars for simply selling art. We know that's not true. And Hunter Biden played a big part in whatever Ukraine money laundering scheme was done there. And this petty behavior by wanting to push this war in the next 50 days is sickening. This is some Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld type behavior. I mean, this is absolutely disgraceful to not only our country, but the entire world, that the Biden administration is pushing for this conflict to escalate and pushing for more innocent people to be killed, whether they're Ukrainian or Russian. They have been responsible for this ever since 2014, ever since the coup orchestrated by the Obama administration. We're going to dive deep into this insane decision by President Biden and how these actions are being perceived by many, including myself, as the closest escalation towards World War III since we've seen really in the past 10 years. In Biden's previous policy change, like we said in the previous segment, he's authorized Ukraine to use U.S.-supplied long-range missiles to strike inside Russian territory. The decision comes months after hesitation due to their alleged fear of the escalating conflict, but clearly they're set on making it worse. And their claim is that because Russia chose to deploy North Korean troops, that was their response in the Kursk region. I don't think that justifies what they're doing. Russia has actually had land taken away from them that's not been taken from them for more than 10 years. So now Ukraine can target Russian military positions in the ATACMS. These missiles can reach up to 190 miles, with the first strikes reportedly happening just days ago. Reports suggest that this policy change was seen as an adequate response to some Western allies that have been met with warnings from Russian lawmakers, claiming it's a step towards a third world war. Here's what former General Mike Flynn has to say about this. He calls for the immediate impeachment of President Joe Biden for intentionally provoking this war with Russia and Ukraine. This is an egregious issue that the United States has orchestrated against the democratically elected Ukrainian government since 2014, and they've blamed Russia for that. They blamed ethnic Russians for the coup and the taking of that land in Western Russia. Every war hawk who wants this to go on, you're doing an absolute disservice to your country and to every single person that's suffering in that war. The issue is if Joe Biden steps down, then you have Kamala Harris to take over for 50 more days. Is that something we really want? Is that something that's going to actually be any better? Definitely not, because it's going to be the same policy, if not worse. We've already seen that from her terrible campaign. So getting rid of Biden doesn't fix the problem. I get what General Flynn's saying. He definitely deserves to be impeached, but the real problem cannot be fixed until President-elect Trump obtains power on January 20th. Then we can really talk about how we're going to fix this conflict. I really do think President Trump is going to bring more peace to this Ukraine-Russia situation, or at the very least put a Band-Aid on what Biden and Harris have done. All it takes is, first of all, stop giving these people money. Stop funding this crazy war. Stop doing this. That is the first and foremost thing that we need to do. No more foreign aid. Secondly, find a strategically peaceful solution. We know that Biden and Harris haven't even talked to Putin since 2022, and they're nothing but willing to give Zelensky every dollar he asked for. So by default, if you're at least trying to talk to both sides, you're doing more than the current administration, and I believe Trump has already done that. He's definitely talked to Putin and Zelensky already, which is literally more than what the current administration is doing. So I have nothing but high hopes for this specific matter, but until we get Trump in office, all we can do is pray for the best, because we have some very reckless and incapable people in power that are trying to make things a whole lot worse for the rest of the world.